What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to From the Forum, our question and answer show. For you guys, y'all's questions from the Fantasy Football Advice Network. If you haven't been over there yet, check it out, fantasyfootballadvice.com. Great platform, tons of people on there like these two guys that are, the ones giving you advice and, answering those questions as you're posting on there. So make sure that you come hang out with us. So we're gonna get this thing started. We got Zach that's gonna be joining in just a second, but before we get going, if you would just let the viewers know who you are, how they can find your content. And we'll start with you, Greg.
Okay. My name is Greg Kellogg. You can find me on Twitter at Gregory L. Kellogg. You can find me on Facebook at Comments, Komments. And basically, this miscreant in the bottom left of my screen convinced me I should be doing a podcast with his team. And I've been extremely happy doing it. I'm also a Fantasy Sports Writers Association Hall of Famer from the inaugural class. Your turn.
All right,
It's my
JC.
turn. What's up, everyone? I'm JC. I'm one of the creators of the Sports Affiliation. You can find me at JC Money Design on Twitter. Also, go check us out at the Sports Affili, also on Twitter. We got a lot of really good content, and basically, we're just a network as well. Building a network of and we spread positivity and inclusiveness. We want to include everybody in our group, so in a positive way, right? We got the website. Go check the website out. Sportsaffiliation.com. Lots of articles over there. We got our YouTube videos up over there. We got content coming out almost every single day. So if it's not YouTube, it's either on Twitter Spaces or it's articles or something. We got bets coming out as well with Iggy stuff. So, just be on the lookout for what we're doing. So appreciate being here like always, Tyler.
Hey man, appreciate that. Zach, can you hear us? Okay, so Zach can hear us. I don't know that if we can hear him.
Testing.
All
We
right,
can hear
there
him.
he is. So Zach, let everybody know who you are, where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Zach Bradley at the Zach Bradley on most formats, including the Fantasy Football Advice Network. I'm the host of the 3-Man Bunk Bed podcast. It's a new show we started this season, so we're only like 9 episodes in, 10 episodes in, something like that. So we post on Spotify, we post on YouTube, and of course, we post on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. So, glad to be on this one. First time on Tyler's Friday show.
Hey, wait a minute. Why don't you post on the Sports Affiliation? This is a network.
True.
Does the Sports Affiliation have something to post on outside of their shows?
Ask JC. He's the man.
Yeah, our website.
Well, we'll have to get over there. Maybe you shouldn't be so secretive about your website, JC. Maybe you should tell more people about it so that we can support you, bro. Greg's got to be your front man. Greg's out here repping the Sports Affiliation.
Doing the thing.
Hey, I'm doing it in Facebook, and Facebook is freaking scary. Mm-hmm. The people on Facebook, they are not nice people, a lot of them.
What did I say, Greg? I said,
hey, but there's a lot of them.
All right, well, we're gonna get right into it this evening. We're gonna flip over to the Fantasy Football Advice Network for the first question of the evening. All right, let's see if I can.
If you aren't already on this, get on this. It's really awesome.
Yeah. So the question is, who should I swap for my starters, if any? I can't decide if I want to start Scary Terry versus Philly or Moore or Dubs instead. Now, obviously, the Green Bay option's out, so it's probably more of a DJ Moore. I notice he's got Damian Pierce on. Let's look at his bench. So on his bench, he's got Marquise Brown, Damian Pierce, DJ Moore, Roshan Johnson. And then in the lineup,
Man, Roshan versus Denver.
Hurts, Brown, Garrett Wilson, Gibbs, Kamara, Ingram, Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, Javonte Williams. Okay, are you swapping anybody on the bench in that lineup, or you think he's got best lineup?
Well, I like Hollywood, but Roshan, am I mistaken? Isn't Chicago playing Denver this weekend?
Yep,
That is correct.
How do you keep Roshan out of your lineup
Yeah.
after Denver just gave up 10 touchdowns? I mean, understand, I expect Denver to play better this week.
And
It would be impossible to play worse.
And they were over 200 yards on the ground, too.
Right, but you've got to, 200 just to Devin A-Chain, who was a healthy scratch in week 1 and got 2 touches in week 2. I think I've got to put Roshan in the lineup somewhere. Now, I can't really read what's on the screen, so I can't tell you who the starters are.
Okay, I can reread them to you. Or I'm good with that take. I think that's a good take. Roshan's definitely somebody that you want to consider this week. What do you think, JC?
I think Hollywood too, though. I think Hollywood too.
So the only thing I worry about Hollywood is his thumb, and he had that thumb injury. So we talked about that the other night, and that could be something that kind of hinders his catching ability. I do like the Roshan Johnson take. I think that he's going to be somebody that, I mean, they're playing against definitely one of the worst run defenses out there. I think I have to get Roshan in there, even though he hasn't, showed out and that team hasn't showed out. I think, doesn't matter. That's why we talked about Fields maybe potentially being a good pick, because he might run the hell out of the ball on him.
So that's kind of my thing on this. So I'll take a little bit, like a small bit of a counter view on this. So I still think you should start a Bears player on this, but for me, it's DJ Moore. I know Fields has struggled mightily, but again, he is going to be a threat from rushing to affect Roshan's value. And if there's somebody in the passing offense that'll benefit, I mean, it'll be DJ Moore. I think I like him as matchup just the same. With that. So Roshan's awesome. I think for me, I'd probably go with a little bit more proven of the guy and go with DJ.
So let me ask you this. Okay, so I like the Roshan, I like the DJ Moore, I like the Marquise Brown, but who in the lineup are you taking out? You got, so obviously both of those receivers. So you're looking at Terry McLaurin, Tank Dell, Javonte Williams. That's the 3 flex spots. Are you swapping any of those out for one of those guys?
Only because I like my roster to look a certain way. Garrett Wilson would be coming out. Terry McLaurin moves up, and then I'm throwing DJ in at the flex. That's probably the adjustment I would make there.
And you would take Garrett Wilson out of the lineup?
Yeah, I think so, man. I struggle with this offense right now.
I agree with him. I'd take Garrett Wilson out. I wouldn't put Scary Terry in. I like Terry McLaurin. I really do. But right now, can you trust Sam Howell? I mean, I don't. I just don't know how you don't put Roshan in. And when you look at DJ Moore this year, I just looked at his fantasy points in my league, and 4.5, 16.4, and 13.1. I think Roshan's got every opportunity to do better than his best day, 16.4. So I don't trust Fields to throw the ball. That's my problem. When you watch him play, he looks like he doesn't have confidence in the routes being run. And until he looks like he's confident, I am not playing him or his receivers. I just won't do it.
I'm hoping this is get right game.
I don't know. I don't think I can sit Garrett Wilson. I mean, he still had 9 targets last week. I mean, just caught 5 of them,
I will say Justin Fields, I said this last night, is a sneaky pick for me this week, not because he's going to throw a lot, but Denver, again, just let up like 8 rushing touchdowns. So I'm calling Fields for like a solid, like, what was it last night? Like a good 175 and 2 TDs.
How many rushing touchdowns did Tua get? Remind me.
He didn't have
none.
That's
One.
Tua. Tua can't run the ball because
We
if
don't
Tua
want
gets
Tua to run
hit,
the ball.
we get no more Tua. So,
Yeah,
Well,
true.
Tua can run the ball.
We don't
he
want him to
can.
run the ball.
He's not
That's
allowed
right.
to.
We don't want
Yeah.
him to.
Yeah.
And we want him to slide, which
yeah.
he's not
We don't want
really
him to
good
do it.
at.
Just
He's
stand
not
in the
really good at
pocket and throw the
sliding.
ball.
Yeah. Good
Nice.
evening, Marcy. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey,
Want to give
Marcy.
you a shout out. Always faithful, always coming out and supporting us. Appreciate you so much. We got Albert in the chat. Always good for coming to hang out. What's up, Albert? And then let's see. Albert's throwing us out our first live question here for the night. He says, half point PPR, Swift or Kyron this week. We're going to push it over to you, Zach. What do you think? You going Swift or Kyron?
I'm looking at their matchups. I don't know, man. I think Kyron. Well, they're both like red hot right now. But I gotta believe that the Philadelphia run game is going to regulate a little bit. They still like Kenneth Gainwell. They still like Boston Scott for those halfway cheeky touchdowns. I mean, he's a vulture for a 5'8" guy. And then Jalen's still going to run it. Like Swift's been awesome for the last 2 weeks. But it's like, I worry it's flash in the pan. Whereas the Rams, made a concerted effort to give this backfield to Kyron, right? Like they got rid of the competition. So I don't know. I'm here with Kyron on this one. Not that Swift hasn't been awesome. He has. I'm going with Kyron Williams.
All right. Anybody else? I mean, you got a hot take. Everybody kind of rolling with Kyron?
I don't know.
I like Kyron, but I want to know who he's playing in his flex position that has Swift on the bench, because I'd probably try to play them both if there's any way I could do it. Swift, until he gets hurt, is a dominant. I mean, the speed is there, but Swift won't catch balls. But at half point, you don't really care that he's not being used in the passing game as much. And I don't know why anybody plays half point, to be honest. That's
what's the
go all or go
I
nuts.
just want to confuse us. You can tell how many points a guy got if you look at yardage and receptions, but half point, now you got to do math. Who wants to do math? This is fantasy football.
What's up, SoCal? Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Sorry I'm missing right now. I need to be there with you guys. Yes, you do. Whoever you are, you need to be here.
Did he answer who he's got in his flex positions, or if he even has flex?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll throw it up. He's usually pretty good at popping it in after the fact. And then Wendy, what's up, Wendy? Want to make sure I give all you guys a shout out. Thanks for coming and tuning in. We love the interaction, everybody on. Super awesome. Can
I give a quick shout out, Tyler?
Sure, go ahead.
On my show last night, on my show Thursday night, we had Melissa Mel as our guest. She's a regular at JC's TSA. She was outstanding. We had Wendy on our second show. She was outstanding. If you guys ever need to book a guest, Wendy and Melissa are both very good.
You're getting some hearts in the chat, Greg. Thanks for the shout out.
Getting some hearts.
Much love. Wendy said she loves Mel too. All right, so let's hit this next question here in the chat from Mason saying, "What's up, guys? Let's talk Puka. Are you looking to trade him? If so, for who?" Obviously, that's a pretty broad question. Would a player like Christian Kirk be enough? So would you trade Puka for Kirk, or are you keeping Puka? JC, you look like you got something just burning inside of you, man. Just let it out.
I'm sorry. I'm not really a Christian Kirk. I'm not a Christian Kirk fan. It's just, I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, Lawrence hasn't been looking great right now, which it sucks because he's so talented, and the amount of talent he has around him, I feel like he should be doing a lot better. But I don't know. I'm not trading the new hotness for Christian Kirk. I mean, if I wanted to make a deal, if I wanted to have the same kind of area of player, I mean, I like Tank Dell. So if I can get him and something else for Nakua, I'd rather do that.
So, Nakua has been a hot part of conversation since the beginning of the season. Obviously, nobody really expected some people expected it, but, obviously he's really kind of filling out. My question is in Dynasty, like, is Puka a long-term asset, Is he hot right now? Like, are you going and taking a Puka and trying to get like a Jameson Williams with him? Or are you trying to go get Marquise Brown? Like, or is Puka now, I mean, entering the conversation of like he's a hold, like he's probably a top 5 round pick?
James Cook. I would trade Puka for James Cook in a redraft league. The problem with Puka right now is if you watch the game, he's slow off the line because the oblique is still bothering him. If you look at what he did, he had a good game. He really did. He actually won me a game with I won by 0.16, 199.96 to 199.80. I won because of that last catch Puka made. Love Puka. I drafted him. I love Christian Kirk, but fact is, who's the other receiver that's been out for Jacksonville?
Zay
Jones, right?
Yeah.
Zay Jones is supposed to be back this week. That's going to cut in because when there's 2 receiver sets, Zay Jones is opposite
Calvin Ridley,
the kid that JC loves, Calvin Ridley. I'm not a Calvin Ridley fan. I like Christian Kirk, but he does come out on 2 receiver sets, and that's a problem. When he's on the field, when he gets the targets, he's going to perform. He's a good receiver. Puka right now has too much value to give away for a Christian Kirk. But if you could get a starting running back, James Cook is the running back in Buffalo. That's on a good offense. If you could get David Montgomery, I would trade Puka for David Montgomery today. I mean, I would. I think that's a great value. But I think long term, if you're in a dynasty league, it would take an awful lot to get Puka away from me.
I agree. Yeah. And I think even in redraft this year, like, if Cooper Kupp comes back, I think that makes things a little bit easier for Puka. Like, he's going against number 1s right now and succeeding, even if injured. So if Cooper comes back and dilutes the number 1 coverage, the elite coverage off of Puka, I think Puka's going to eat. I'm with
but
you.
What targets? What do you expect for targets when Cooper's back? Cooper's going to obviously take targets away from everyone.
Sure.
I think Atwell more than Puka, but I don't know that. Until we see them together, we don't know that.
And I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy targets that Cooper's going to take away, right? Give him a chance to get right, but he's still going to be able to I think he retains value. Poor Van Jefferson.
But are you thinking he retains 8 to 10 targets with Cooper Kupp there?
Yeah,
I got that.
That takes. I mean, Mason really had a good follow-up question. So when Kupp, I mean, we were already hitting it. When Kupp comes back, who takes the back seat, Atwell or Nakua?
Atwell.
Okay. Here's the other part of that question, though. You said dynasty in a dynasty league. All right, what about when Matt Stafford's gone? Who's throwing him the ball? I would rather go out. If I want to trade Puka, I'm gonna go get the other hotness that nobody's talking about. Tank Dell, who's a rookie.
Well, I love Tank Dell.
And there's a brand new quarterback that he's very well gelling with.
Yes.
I think that's the best time and you could probably get Dell plus something for Nakua because people still
could probably get Cook plus something for Nakua.
Yeah. So when he had a good one, will Kupp actually come back this year? Are we going to see him grace the field?
He'll be back, but how much will he be used? And remember, Cooper Kupp, the majority of his eating is from the slot. He is a big slot receiver. Most teams have little quick guys in the slot. Cooper Kupp's been a slot receiver. Yeah. You don't have Nakua in the slot. He's playing wide.
Yeah.
So Nakua's staying on the field. Atwell's the one that's coming off the field.
Yeah.
But the coaching staff loves Atwell, so they will find ways to use him.
I could see Van's routes getting limited too. Yeah. All right, so let's hit the next question here. Half PPR. Jarrell asks, flex Pacheco, Christian Kirk, or Josh Palmer this week?
Palmer. He's on a dynamic offense that throws the ball a lot, and he's the number 2 now. Now, yes, the touchdown was a fluke. It went through the defender's hands, but it's still a touchdown. I don't care if it's a fluke or not. They will throw to him, and he really only played a quarter as a primary receiver last week. I think Josh Palmer has shown he can play. Again, I love Christian Kirk, and I don't think Zay is back this week. So I expect Kirk to eat this week, but I still think Palmer has the bigger ceiling.
Yeah, I agree with that. Keenan or Mike Williams is out. They've got a pretty cush matchup against the Raiders, who might not have their starting quarterback. I'm not sure where we know about Jimmy G. Yeah, I think Josh Palmer's just, even if it's a 1 week stream, that's who I'd go with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Jimmy G's he's limited in practice, so he is actually back at practice, which is a good sign to me. I think he'll end up playing this week. But I mean, I like Josh Palmer as well. I mean, Quentin Johnson's definitely shown that he's not anything yet. So, and Palmer last year when he had the opportunity showed that he could ball. So I think that he's definitely somebody I would rather be putting here right now.
Fair enough. All right, so we're gonna go over to our next question on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. For those of you guys that are just tuning in, make sure you like and subscribe this video. The support is much appreciated. And go check out fantasyfootballadvice.com and sign up. It's free to sign up, and obviously there are some options to buy up your membership, but you can just come hang out with for free if that's what you do. But great place to ask questions, just like we're going through in the show. So we're going to flip back over to the network for the next question. And here it is. Who do you want rest of season, TJ Hawkinson or Mark Andrews?
Corey.
I know. Thank Corey for the tough one.
It's a flip a coin for me.
Yeah, I think Hawkinson's just going to have his days, he'll have his up, and he like right now. I think I'm just gonna go with Hawkinson.
That's your Vikings.
Never mind. Honestly, I want to go with Hawkinson, but Mark Andrews is the one technically on that team. So I mean,
I was Sam Laporta.
I want to go with Hawkinson.
Laporta. Hey, when JMO comes back, he's taking the roof off. That means Laporta's going to have the middle of the field to himself.
Yeah, I mean, you could trade right now. If this is dynasty, man, you could be making a trade. You could trade like Mark Andrews for Laporta and get something else too on top of that.
Get a draft pick, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going Hawkins socks all day with this offense. I mean, dude, this is wild. Kirk Cousins is averaging 300 yards, 350 yards a game, like on pace for some ridiculous number. And Hawkinson, even with all the other receiving options, is a super vital part to this offense. I like Mark Andrews, and this is a purple on purple tight end battle, but I'm going TJ Hawkinson.
One warning: the coaching staff in Minnesota has already warned all the Vikings players that if they keep fumbling, they're going to come out. And Hawkinson had a fumble on his first reception last week, so. I think he was directing it at Madison.
But,
yeah.
But Hawkinson did put the ball on the ground.
Oh yeah. No, they paid him all that money. That cat gets to stay on the field.
When it comes down to that a lot, Zach. It
really does. That the ownership goes, we got capital involved. He needs to play.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna hit the next question. We're getting some more rolling through the live chat here. So this one is from.
That's the Kirk Cousins yards.
That's wild.
He's not going to hit that.
I'm going with the option in that offense. Sorry.
His arm will fall off before he gets there.
Yeah, he's never been over 5,000. So
he's ice bathing already. He's just exhausted.
I know.
So crazy.
But he's not a young man either.
No.
On the last question before we go on, one thing also to consider: who is the Minnesota backup tight end? See, I bet you can answer that for Mark Edwards. I bet you can answer that for Mark Edwards. I bet most people can't answer that for Hawkinson.
It's Josh
Oliver. Isaiah Likely is much more likely to eat into Edwards.
The backup is Josh Oliver.
Nobody is eating into Mark Andrews' touches. If Mark
Isaiah Likely already Mark Andrews
getting all the touches.
Isaiah Likely's already getting touches in the passing game in Baltimore. They like the kid. He's a good player.
All right, so the next question, Chaka. So last week I traded Lamb for Kamara, Kyron, Mark Andrews, and Moss. Couldn't turn it down. Couldn't turn down that value, but now I need some help at wide receiver. I also have Javonte and Swift. Which running back would you be looking to trade away?
Swift for me because I know his history.
Yeah, his value.
I don't think Swift
will
holds
never
up.
be
So
higher.
high.
Swift had 33 carries. Okay. He had 26 carries. Those are his two biggest games. Other than those two games, the most carries he's ever had is 16. He gets hurt every year. I would trade him right now to get a top wide receiver while he's playing well. And if he has a big game this week, I've got him in my starting lineup. I'm going to play him till the wheels fall off. But I certainly would trade him before he gets injured.
Yeah, no, that's probably the best take because, I mean, look at those options. I mean, you got a lot of buy lows. Javonte's a buy low. Kamara's a buy low. Swift right now is probably at the top value that we've seen him in a long time. And so, yeah.
Zach Moss, you got Jonathan Taylor coming back.
Yeah, that was me. I was going to say if we're trading Swift, Moss for me is the second option for sure. Because
the big question there is they don't know. They're saying already, like JT, he doesn't know if he's going to play. Like even when he gets back, he's still saying he doesn't want to play. And if I'm Indianapolis, do you really need to play him? I mean, Moss just went off against Baltimore. Like he took Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen to the house. You know what I mean? Like it's not like
who was the
Moss
quarterback for that game? Who was the quarterback for that Zach Moss game?
You talking about Minshew?
So yeah, exactly. The last time Anthony Richardson played, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Look, a rookie quarterback that's known for his athletic ability is going to continue to snipe those touchdowns. I'm out on Zach Moss on that. As far as like that's who I would look to trade. I just think, he doesn't profile as like a, like going to keep the number one job kind of running back. He's a flash in the pan, I think, and his quarterback matters. With Minshew, sure. Without Minshew, I'll trade him.
Can he
Zach,
trade both of them?
Zach, would you combine Moss and Swift to try to get a say a Diggs or a Tyreek Hill?
Yep.
If I can get Reek, yeah.
Because in my fantasy experience, it always feels like everyone's looking for a running back, but lots of people have receiver options. And so, yeah, you take 2 running backs and someone's going to pay for those guys right now. Right now. You wait 2 weeks and it might be a really different story. Trade them right now. But yeah, absolutely. You go get you a wide receiver 1 and consolidate your roster some, right? Maybe you can play the waivers after that.
Make the trade on Monday or Tuesday. Because if you make it now and you got them in your lineup, you don't get the points. I am literally trading away Justin Jefferson on Tuesday morning. And I'm doing it to get David Montgomery and Amari Cooper. You can say that, but I ran the numbers. The points are better having Cooper and Montgomery in my lineup than Justin Jefferson.
I don't know. I'd be pretty happy with having a guy that's putting up over 20 points without a touchdown every week.
Yeah. 25. Yeah, 25.
Like he's guaranteed 150 yards every week.
Cooper's not a slouch, and Montgomery is a top 5 running back.
Yeah.
All right, so here's one. I think this is going to be a pretty easy answer. So I got to keep us moving. We got a lot of questions to hit. So, Kyron or Raheem?
Kyron for me.
I think I'm going Mostert.
That was surprising. I thought this was an easy Mostert question, but obviously Greg knows something that we don't. What is that, Greg?
Kyron doesn't share carries. Raheem does. What's Devin Achane going to have the rest of the year?
I don't
think he's going to have. I don't think he's going to have a lot, but a lot of people do.
If they each put up a touchdown a game, I'm in. That offense, Mike McDaniel is a wizard. And like the way he puts together those schemes, the way he runs his offense, the creativity behind it, like they're going to score points. As long as Tua can stay healthy, they're going to score points. And so, whether it be running, passing, I mean, you don't really know. But obviously, so far, it's been a lot of points. Like
opportunities rule. Opportunities rule. How many opportunities is Raheem going to get the rest of the year? And right now you don't know because of the monster game that A-Chain had. Now, personally, I think A-Chain goes to 10 to 12 touches per game, which is going to eat away at Raheem's carries. But what happens when Jeff Wilson comes back? If you remember, Wilson was the starter last year and Raheem was the backup. So
They have that other running back too, who just went out.
Salvon Ahmed.
Yeah, and he actually had a decent game in week 2. Yeah, he had a good game. I mean, he just got hurt again. So I mean, there's plenty of running backs in that backfield.
So that, to me, Kyron has nobody to take carries away from him, and he's performing.
I mean, his performance is just going like this, though.
Yeah, last week was not near as good.
No, but wait.
Mostert just going like this. So at this point,
put Kyron up against last week's Denver team.
Well, I mean, we will probably get to see that. So we'll see. Okay, so next one, and it does have Mostert, and I think they meant A-Chain in it. Brian says start 2. I've got lots of running back depth.
ETN for sure.
ETN, Mostert, A-Chain, Josh Jacobs, ETN, DeAndre Swift, PVR. I think I'm going ETN and ETN.
Yep.
if I can double start.
Yeah. I'm going ETN
I'm kidding.
I'm going ETN and Swift, although it's hard to set Mostert after last week. I just think Buffalo's defense is going to eat. I think they're going to surprise people because everybody's expecting A-Chain and Mostert to have a huge day against Buffalo, and I don't think they will.
It's just I mean, how you have to stop things through the air, things through the ground. I mean, it's like, who do you try to stop?
Well, but they play him every year. It's not like they haven't seen that speed before. A-Chain's different, but he's no faster than Mostert. He's the same speed as Mostert. I'm going Swift and ETN until Swift gets hurt or traded.
Swift, ETN, JC, you said ETN and Mostert. Zach?
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards more ETN and Swift. I really want Mostert after his huge week, but the Dolphins struggle with the Bills. Historically, I just pulled up some of their previous stuff, and I look at like the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, and the Dolphins have won twice in those last 10 games. So
how many points are they scoring though?
There's been a couple of high ones, but there's been a couple of low ones. So 31, 29, 19, 11. It just kind of depends on if I'm reading that right. So
I think what we're kind of getting, I think what we're kind of getting at there is it seems like it's going to be either one or the other. Like, it's either going to be a big game, lots of points, or, the Bills defense is going to hold strong. And they had a good week last week, So definitely a big thing to consider there.
Nobody's saying Josh Jacobs. Didn't he lead the league in rushing last year?
The Raiders offense.
Hey, Josh Jacobs is one of those, you look, there are several running backs this year, and I don't know what happened at the offseason. Maybe it was all the discouragement.
Curse of 370.
Yeah. 370, curse of 370 or not. I mean, there's so many running backs across the league right now that look like they're running with concrete in their shoes. Like they just look slow. They look
somebody named Dillon in Green Bay.
Yeah, H.A. Dillon's one. Najee is struggling to get moving. Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but then he breaks off a 25-yard run. So he's got it. He just doesn't do anything consistently.
Right, and they look, and I don't know, maybe, and it's probably reading into it too much. Maybe it's the whole contract thing, and running backs are like, you know what? Is there even a place for us in the world anymore? And they're all getting sad, and they're eating tacos like Eddie Lacy and and
why did balloon? Eddie did balloon.
Yeah, why do you think nobody has signed Leonard Fournette yet? I guarantee you, if you need a running back and you call Lenny and Lenny shows up, you're like, oh man, Maybe not.
He's got a couple workouts. He has got a couple workouts.
And did he sign?
No.
He came in. They call him Fat Lenny for a reason.
Well, it's either a weight thing or it's a money thing. It's not he's talented. He's just either kind of chunky right now. Or
he's old too, isn't he? And he
kind of chunky right now.
He's a little husky around the middle, It's okay.
All right. We're going to back over to the network. Man, I'm loving these questions, loving the conversation tonight. This one is just going to go up real quick because it's funny. JC threw it up last night before the game. And this is one of those examples of like sometimes you gotta go with your gut, and maybe everybody's opinion is not the correct opinion. But JC threw up last night. He said, all right, who to start at tight end in week 4? Luke Musgrave, Logan Thomas, or Jake Ferguson? Don't pay attention to my dot. I'm all alone on an island over there.
I don't know.
Hey, actually, I'm going to tell you right now, Iggy said to start Fergie too. And on the Twitterverse, man, it was crazy how much it looked like Luke Musgrave was up there. And I was like, with players coming back, I don't know if it's a good idea. And we saw it happen. It was a terrible idea. So I'm so glad that I didn't go out and get him.
There are people that really like Logan Thomas, but I think last night I answered that and I said, for me, it'd be Ferguson too.
Yeah. I will say though, so Lions had a weak spot against tight ends. Like tight ends were performing well against the Lions. Musgrave went down early, and we saw the emergence of Josiah Degura looking like a champ. I think he had at least 4 catches for probably 30 to 40 yards.
Love completed 4 passes?
Surprisingly, he did.
I didn't think he got 4 off.
Was in the second half.
Okay.
In the second half, they kind of came alive. You thought maybe they might make it a game. Of course, they didn't make it a game. It was, we do the Thursday night show. For any of you guys watching, we do a Thursday night watch party. It's better than the Manning cast. Me, JC, usually we have a guest. Greg's been on there with us. We've had, a good time every time. And this week, it was a slow moving game. It felt slow. We did hit on
really fast in the first half. The first half was great.
Not the second half. I was like, this is going.
Yeah, no. I will say this: the game was closer than it should have been because the referees gave a free touchdown to Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
That long pass should not have counted.
They needed it. They needed a freebie. I'll tell you that. They looked pretty bad. I'll tell you, it looks real good though. Hutch, man.
That was Jalen Reed, right? That made the catch. I think
Jaden Reed, right?
Jaden Reed, yeah.
Yeah, he's really good.
All right, so back over to the network. JZAM Mudio 24. Yeah, I'm gonna struggle through that. Who to keep? Madison or Rachaad White for the season, and why? What do you think, Greg? You had like a little head shake right there. It was like you were surprised.
White, he's the starter. There's nobody taking carries. It's all about opportunities. It's always about opportunities. Madison could lose his job next week. Now, he won't do it this week because they're going to limit what Cam Akers can do. The question is Cam Akers the Cam Akers we saw in week 1 where he averaged 1.3 yards per carry, or is he the Cam Akers we knew before? And we don't know until we see him in that Minnesota offense. But I got to say, they're not happy with Madison. I don't know why they don't give Ty Chandler a chance or bring up Dwayne McBride. That's the kid I really liked was McBride. But the bottom line is they don't love Madison. So as a fantasy owner, you shouldn't either.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, Rachaad White's team didn't trade for a running back. Yeah.
Yeah, I think here's a crazy thing. Madison actually looked real good last week, didn't he?
What did I tell you, though? I said it last week on the show. I said, watch, Akers arrives, and then all of a sudden Madison feels heat on his back, and he comes out and he plays. We saw. I mean, if he feels like he's going to lose his job, he looked way better last
Against
week
the
than he
Chargers,
did.
though. It was, I mean,
Yeah, fair enough. But I can tell you this for me.
Grade Madison. That is high.
Madison had a good week last week. I really hope he has one more this week. If he can have 2 in a row, if I'm a Madison owner, I am dishing him hot and heavy. I'm sending him down the road for, whatever if he has another good week, it's likely you could get like an Amari Cooper. You could probably go trade Madison to a running back needy team and get like an Amari Cooper or
James Cook.
Yeah, maybe a James Cook. So there's tons of options there I think you could get off of another strong Madison showing. So, I think that's definitely something that I'm considering if I'm a Madison owner. I don't think he's a throughout the whole season type guy. Rachaad White will be because there's nobody else there unless they can go find somebody, which I don't think they won't. I don't think they will. So I'm definitely trying to move Madison. I think you're going to get the most for him, which takes us to our next question right after that one on the network. Dim says, Ford, Madison, or Flowers?
I'm probably still going to go for
Jerome Ford. Don't think about it. Just do it.
They play Baltimore. Baltimore
is not the Baltimore you remember.
They just got lit up by Zach Moss. So yeah,
Ray Lewis is not there anymore.
You hear the way JC said that? He's like, yeah, they just got lit up by Zach Moss. Yeah, he'll probably be okay. Like Jerome Ford's fine. Like Kareem Hunt, and it was only his first week back, but Kareem Hunt didn't really eat into his workload as much as I thought he would. Coming back into an offense he's familiar with. I'm with Jerome Ford on that one too.
And Ford used in the passing game as well as the running game. So,
yeah, I don't think I'm not as scared of some of those other guys, especially. We just talked about Madison. That's obviously the go. Flowers I really like, but Flowers stock is down as long as Andrews is healthy. If Andrews goes down and misses time, Flowers stock skyrockets. That's when I want to have Flowers. All right, let's see. Let's pop over again, man. They lit it up this week on the network. Tons of questions. Next one coming up. And pick 2. Cooper, Higgins, Waddle, week 4.
Waddle for sure, right? Is anybody going to sit Waddle?
No, I think Cooper and Waddle. Yeah.
Yeah, Cooper is the number 1 on his team, and Higgins is the number 2 with a quarterback who's clearly still injured. I don't think it impacts Burrow's throwing other than some deep throws. I don't think he's throwing deep as accurately as he was, but he cannot escape. He cannot run. If he tries to run, he could strain that calf again and be gone. So I agree with Zach, Cooper and Waddle.
Yeah, and I think,
Jordan Poyer's out too.
Oh, yeah.
That's
with Higgins, like you worry, it's a contract year. There's all this talk about him being traded or not being with the team. He has a high target share. He's targeted 8 times last week, only caught 2 of them. For me, that's worrisome. Yeah, in that trio, Higgins is 3. Maybe still a slot play or a flex play, but not over the other 2 guys.
So another question in the chat, and he was actually correcting it from earlier. But all in one show, Puka and A-Chain for Walker.
I think I might say yes to this.
I would probably say no.
Yeah, I'm a no.
And the reason is, did you see Zach Charbonnet train that guy, that DB?
Mm-hmm.
Zach Charbonnet is going to start getting playing time. And I love Kenny Walker. I really do.
He's been looking so good.
But if I'm going to trade Puka away, especially if it's a dynasty, I want a running back that's the number 1 running back on his team. And I'm not sure how long Kenny Walker will be the number one.
Especially with his injury history. Like, it's not a talent thing. He's good, but I agree, Greg. I think Charbonnet probably got whatever preseason corner that was. That cat probably got cut after that. I mean, like, he got off the roster after he got hit like that. So
that was just last week.
Charbonnet
went down. He caught a pass, and he went down at the goal line, and he drove that guy back 10 yards into the end zone. It was
poor guy.
Okay, so update on this question. He says, redraft, I can afford to lose Puka. Waddle would replace him in the lineup. So basically, it's somebody who can afford to give an A-chain for Walker.
Yeah, I would do that then.
Yeah. I mean, Walker right now is, I think, number 4 running back on the season, averaging 20 points a game or so. Like,
he's scoring touchdowns. He's not getting the yardage.
4 touchdowns on the season so far for Walker, and they're using him. We know Pete Carroll likes to run the ball. We know he's been searching for that running back. He's trying to not to say he's trying to replace Marshawn Lynch, but he's probably trying to replace Marshawn Lynch. And Walker looks good, but we know he's going to run the ball. And I mean, we've seen. Is Seattle one of those teams that can make 2 running backs relevant?
Yes. Because one of them is going to be catching the ball, so I still think the question is yeah.
I don't think at the same time. I think you can make one relevant as a RB1, RB2, and one relevant as a flex. So yes, you can make them relevant, but if they decide to go to Charbonnet, I don't think they use Walker a whole lot because he's not in on third downs. He's not in on 2-minute drill. He's not in on passing downs. They don't trust him on passing downs. They don't trust Walker on passing downs. So
off topic.
I want 3 for 3 last week.
All in one. I need you to hit me up in the chat. Tell me if you drafted Puka and A-Chain or if you waiver wired those guys. Because if you turn 2 waiver wires into Jalen Waddle, I commend you. Okay. That's a great job.
Oh no, he's got Waddle on his team. He would replace Puka with Waddle on his team. He's trying to turn Puka and A-Chain into Walker, which I think is good, but
it's still the same thing. That is a win.
Why not try to turn him into Pollard? That's who I'd try to turn him into.
Waivers. So you had a tough 2 weeks, or your team just wasn't looking.
Or
you knows win your leagues by waivers. Money. You do. Management.
It's true.
Yeah. Hey, look, that's why you have to work the waiver wire. Mm-hmm. You have to, and we see it. I mean, I've been able to do it. You can turn a team around working the waiver. You can turn a team around following and trading trends. We talk about trend trading all the time. When a player goes up, dish them, get somebody that is going to be solid. It's always a ceiling and floor, right? You want that person that's going to have that higher floor each week. Like a JJ is not even getting a touchdown, and you still got 20 points a week. You know what I mean? You want to try to
0.6. I know, I'm giving him away.
There's no way I can't trade him unless I'm getting a bunch.
You're a Vikings fan. You're definitely biased. That's one of those. That's another thing. People struggle to let go of names. It is hard.
I'm a Lions fan. I'm going after Montgomery, so I'm just as bad.
All right. So should I trade Thielen and Rachaad White for Mostert?
I don't know.
I'd say no.
You're like trading old players or 2 old players in that trade.
Well, we've seen
again redraft or dynasty.
Probably redraft.
And also we kind of covered it earlier, right? Like Mostert's awesome right now, but we do worry that the backfield's going to only get more crowded as the season goes on.
And he's 31 and injury prone.
Thielen's 33, 34.
Yeah, but wide receivers don't age the same as running backs do.
Yeah. To me, this is if there's somebody on waivers that I really want to pick up, I might consider it. But I do think Mostert is not a full season long take. But then I'm not a big Rachaad White person, and I think Thielen's much better with the red rifle throwing the football than Bryce Young, unfortunately. As we saw that last week. So I mean, I'm probably hanging on to Mostert right now because the value is high, and if I'm
Oh, he's trading to get Mostert.
or I would trade to get Mostert, but then I would probably ship Mostert. Like if Mostert has another couple good weeks, like I said, I don't know that he lasts a full season, but you could then you could add somebody off waivers. Maybe you turn Mostert and somebody else into like really a high profile player, over a Thielen or Rashad. At Mostert, we're probably talking about somebody's pick in the, late after 10th round, probably 11 through 14 of their redraft, or even like Rashad White and Thielen, we're talking about later drafts. So if I can turn those into somebody that I would have taken the first through the fourth, I mean, that's what I'm going to do.
Thielen,
Tyler, do you consider draft position when you make trades?
No. Well,
I don't. I consider just performance because people make mistakes in the draft every year, and players don't live up to draft positions. Or look at David Montgomery. He's a 6th-round pick when Jahmyr Gibbs was going in the 2nd and 3rd. Who's having the better year? Who would you rather have on your fantasy team right now?
Yeah, so
to me, it's easy.
Let me correct that. I'm not considering draft place when I'm considering whether or not I'm going to take the trade. I'm using it for eval. I'm going off beginning of the season, probability of a player, right, which is what we draft on. And then I'm taking that to kind of figure, okay, if I can take, even like these guys who cost me, not much in the draft, and they're just very flighty, right, and get something that's more guaranteed, that's what I want to go after.
I can tell you
at what point does the draft capital no longer matter? I figure about week 5. About week 5, you pretty much know what you've got.
Yeah,
Tyler uses draft position as his resume pitch when convincing someone.
But not
yes. I use a lot of things as the resume pitch.
Tyler's go-to is, but he's a starting running back, and we always go, he's not a fantasy starting running back. Those are
I'm like
things.
It's like Rashad White. I'm trying to dish Rashad White, and I'm going to try to get Stephon Diggs. I'm like, you need a running back, and Rashad White is the guy, right? Like he's the guy in Tampa. He's getting all the carries. You want to dish me that wide receiver because you have plenty.
I'm going to look at Rashad White's points per game, and I'm going to look at Stephon Diggs' points per game, and I'm going to laugh at you.
All right, so here with this real quick, with this, I would probably wait a week and then try to make this trade and get something more. So Mostert right now is at a high value, right? And he's playing against a tough defense, so his value might drop after this week. Well, Thielen's playing against one of the easiest, secondaries, and he's playing against his rival team. So I think Thielen should put up points like he did last week because he's playing with the same quarterback again, Andy Dalton. So if that happens, the value of him goes up. And if you're still depending on Rashad White, but I think, Mostert probably goes down, Thielen goes up. I think you can get more.
Hey,
Ray Gamer on here saying, hey, yo, what's up? Glad for you tuning in here. He's got a question. Let's see here. Oh, my goodness, it's a long one. I'm going to do my best to try to make it through this. All right. Starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Wide receiver, Olave, Metcalf, running back, Monty, Moss, Hawkinson, flex, Barkley for now, kicker. Okay, we got the full lineup. Okay. Who should I start on my bench if Barkley is out? My bench is Dameon Pierce, Kareem Hunt, Joshua Kelly, Christian Watson already played, Deuce played, Jacoby Meyer, Christian Kirk, standard scoring.
Okay, no point per reception usually gives the advantage to the running back, but your running backs have not performed. I love Dameon Pierce. I know he's going to get touches, but I would probably go with either Jacoby Myers or Christian Kirk here. And I'm a Kirk believer, so I'd probably put Kirk in over Jacoby Myers. But Myers has looked good this year. He really has.
They play the Chargers. He's my sneaky play of the week, man. And especially if Garoppolo actually does play, oh my God, Myers could be the guy who gets 2 touchdowns this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. Instincts, like that ingrained standard scoring strategy says play the running back, but I'm with you on that. Like, both the receivers, I think I'd play over. I'm going to look at Pierce all week until Sunday morning and then probably play one of the other guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't Jacoby already have a 2-touchdown game week this year? I'm pretty sure he did week 1 or 2.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it was week
remember.
1. Yeah, he had 29 points in week 1, 2 touchdowns, 9 catches, and 81 yards. So
But it was Denver. Okay. It was,
okay, so what? They're playing.
That's true. That's true.
Their secondary is terrible too. It's so
Maybe
bad.
to your point, yeah.
It's like,
And the
it's so
Chargers'
much opportunity
offense
there.
is so good that they'll probably build a lead, which means that they'll have to be throwing from behind.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, we got to keep it moving, We only got a few minutes left here on the From the Forum show, so pop your last minute questions in. We're going to try to hit a lightning round here. And again, thanks for tuning in. Check out fantasyfootballadvice.com. You're going to want to be there. If we don't get your questions, you can ask them live there, and we're happy to, to help out however we can. And everybody's on there, including all 3 of these guys in the show, answering your questions. So let's hit the lightning round here. We got Tutu or Josh Kelly.
2-2.
2-2.
2-2. Eckler's out again, but Kelly's not good right now.
Really bad.
Yeah, not good.
All right. Let's see. Keep going. Ray Gamer popped in. He said, if Jimmy G plays, it's Myers or Kirk for me. I tell you this, if Zay Jones plays, which I don't know if they made an announcement on that, it's definitely Myers. But I think
Last
I'm
I
going
heard, he
Myers.
was out.
Yeah, I'm
Jones
still
is
going
out.
Myers in this deal. I think Jacoby's primed, and I think they really like him.
Zay Jones is out. Flip a coin.
Yeah, I'm still on the Myers side.
Let's see.
They're playing in London too. Remember that.
Check the weather.
Okay, so Ray Gamer said the person in my league is willing to give me Waddle in the trade next week instead of who is he getting? Mostert. Thielen and Rashad for Mostert, or Thielen and Rashad for Waddle?
Oh, give me
I'd
Waddle.
rather have Waddle.
Yeah, Waddle all day.
All right, Jugs, full 10-man PPR redraft. Guys, I'm hurt. Eckler out for me again. I feel you, Jugs. I'm in the same boat. I got Eckler in like 2 leagues, and he is destroying me. I'm crying on the weeks and hoping that my receivers can get me through. He says, so moving K9 out of my flex to replace Eckler. I like that. Start 1 for flex. Sutton, Josh Kelly, DJ Moore, or A-Chain.
I think I'm going to go Sutton here. They're playing against Chicago Bears.
Yeah, but
I like DJ because they're playing.
DJ Moore is
They're
playing.
playing
That's
the
true.
Denver,
I mean,
yeah,
let's
so
Let's go, DJ.
I'd flip a coin between Sutton and DJ. I actually would probably go Sutton because I like the quarterback better.
Touchdowns too.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Ray Gamers. Sorry, man. He said that wasn't him. That wasn't his trade, the Mostert trade. Which one was his trade? You're gonna have to pop that trade back in for the Waddle. I do not remember, and I can't find it. We have so many comments in this freaking chat. All right, I traded Hollywood Brown for Ramondre Stevenson. He accepted it immediately. I kind of wish I'd tried to send him Judy first, competing with Mims and Sutton for targets. How do you feel about Brown for Ramondre?
I'm good with that. Personally,
I'm good with that. I like Ramondre is going to get better. He's not playing as well as he did last year, but he's still a good running back. Don't expect much this week. Dallas is not happy with the way they played last week.
All right, Jugs again. Dallas Goedert or Hunter Henry this week?
Henry.
Henry.
So too.
I don't know if you guys see this, the helmet on my shelf over here. Woo pig, baby. Hunter Henry, Ole Miss throwback. He'll find a way to get it done if they give him the chance.
Those woo pig.
All right, maybe this was the trade. Might trade Moss, Christian Kirk, and Christian Watson for Waddle next week. Ooh, all of them?
A lot.
Yeah, that's too much.
That's a
in my
lot.
opinion.
I'm not doing that deal.
No,
I think we still have to see what Christian Watson came in for maybe like what was it, like
a touchdown.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
like
he also went back out. So I mean, maybe they were.
Yeah, but he was wide
wasn't in there
open
very
on that
long.
touchdown.
Yeah, he was.
He got a touchdown. So I mean, if healthy, they're gonna be looking for him. I like Christian Kirk, and Moss is really hard to give up right now.
I would probably do Moss and Kirk for Waddle, because you don't know what's going to happen with JT. And if JT comes back and they decide they're paying him, they might as well play him. Then JT's going to take Moss's job.
Well, Christian Watson showed us last year he does not need a lot of games to make a very big impact on your team.
Yeah. So 2 for 1, maybe, not 3 for 1.
Yeah. All right, Chandler, this is an easy one for me, and I know it's an easy one for at the Zach Bradley because he is a Saints fan. If it's between Evans and Amari this week, I'm going Amari.
You better play
Evans
Amari.
has a nasty history with Marcus Lattimore. Usually ends up with him getting booted from the game or something like that. They have this rivalry, and I'm sure that it is not going to be pretty. And if Baker is throwing, I'm going Amari. I don't like that matchup at all for Mike Evans this week.
Yeah, and for me, it's minus last week. The Buccaneers have overachieved, but the Saints also are, I think, 12 games in a row holding opponents to 20 or less points. And again, the history here with Marshawn Lattimore, Mike Evans, it's less about what Amari Cooper might do, and it's more about what I think Mike Evans won't do.
Mike Evans has had, good games against him, but I mean, you could be like, all right, Mike Evans is he's on pace to have, 10 catches easily, but all of a sudden he gets into a fist fight.
Yeah.
I don't know what they say to each other. They hate each other. Yeah.
Well, last year was because Lattimore threw Brady to the ground, and here comes Mike Evans off the bench.
Yeah.
The bench. He comes off the bench to go get him. Like, it's
you gotta love a guy that protects his quarterback.
It is Tom Brady too.
Michigan. Michigan, man, he protected his Michigan player.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Evans just because of that story.
Yeah.
All right, we got to keep moving, man. The chat's lighting up. All right, guys, look, hey, like and subscribe to this video. We are here every Friday. We're here answering your questions. We're here answering your questions for each week going into Sunday as you're thinking about these things. Like and subscribe to this show so you can tune in every time. And, we're not going to be able to get the rest of these questions in the chat. So my best advice for you, go to fantasyfootballadvice.com, fantasyfootballadvice.com, and sign up. It is free. It is free to sign up. You can get in and interact. There is memberships to be able to access tons of great content, podcasts, videos, articles. We have trade calculator. We have league classifieds tools. We have player rankings. We have a ton of tools to help separate you from everybody else in your league. Come hang out with us. But the biggest part of all of it is you have a great community, just like these guys in this video that are there, that are helping you out in your fantasy leagues, that are inclusive. Like, nobody's dogging you. Like, everybody's having a good time. Everybody's trying to help everybody win. And so make sure fantasyfootballadvice.com. We had a ton of people join last show, and they absolutely love it already. Tons of questions. We hit some of those questions in tonight's show. So I'm going to try to get 2 more. I'm going to hit people that was not able to I haven't been able to get to their question yet, so they haven't actually had a question on air. I'm going to hit these 2, and then we're going to sign off for the night. So first, number 1, I traded Henry for Mixon and Christian Watson. Did I mess up, or help me feel better about this trade?
You didn't mess up. You made a key stolen.
Yeah,
it's a great trade.
Hunter Henry is overachieving right now. He is not like this is not his best season ever was tight end 9. So he's really, really good right now. But you got a starting running back and if he gets healthy, a starting receiver. I'd roll that way.
Is that Derrick Henry?
Well, it doesn't matter. If it's Derrick Henry, he's doing nothing anyway, and he's 29. That's a great trade.
And he's splitting carries with a running back that doesn't have an ACL. Let's go, Tajay.
Yeah, it is Derrick Henry. He said, now I feel even worse. Don't feel worse. It's a great trade.
Derrick is even better.
Yeah.
Derrick is in a curse of 370 year. If you don't know what that is, Google it. Curse of 370. And look at his performances this year. Tajay is eating at his plate more and more as the season goes on. Yep. And I got to tell you, I think that's a great trade.
Yeah, Mixon's obviously getting a lot of usage. They're loving him. They had a great game last week. And then Christian Watson showed in the little bit of time that he was on the field, they're going to target him. They're going to target him in the red zone. He got a touchdown. So later in the season, for sure, I like Christian Watson, and I don't think you're having to give up too much to get there. The Titans are really, really struggling. I mean, Derrick Henry's going to face 8 in the box because nobody is expecting Tannehill to get the ball down the field.
I've watched that TD play 3 times, and I still can't figure out how Watson got so open. There was no defender near.
There was nobody there. All right, last question for the night from Ian B. Ramondre Stevenson, Jacoby Myers, or Nico Collins in the flex non-PPR. I think it's easy to choose between Myers and Collins and Ixnay Stevenson, but who are you taking between Jacoby Myers and Nico Collins this week?
I'm going to go with JC because I know what he's going to say.
I mean, it is still tough. I think I'm more on the Dell side, so I'm going to fade Collins a little bit here. So I'm going to probably go Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, that's what I figured. With that, Stevenson's playing against the Dallas defense that got torched last week. They're going to be upset.
Yeah,
the word I would use starts with a P and ends with an ED. They're not going to be happy, and they're going to, there are people right now saying they think Ezekiel's the one that's going to get the carries in that game. That may be. So it comes down to the 2 wide receivers. Now, I personally am not as down on Nico as JC is, but I do think Jacoby's got the easier path to points in a non-PPR league.
I mean, they're playing Pittsburgh. I mean, they could. I still let's see. CJ Stroud is my we did a force or farce show, and CJ Stroud was my force player this week. Him and Tank Dell. I mean, that you get DFS.
He's my free agent to pick up this week.
Hey, DFS play this week is going to be really cheap, and Tank Dell's only $3,900. So I mean, it's going to be a cheap play.
Yeah. Well, again, hey, thank you all for tuning in to From the Forum. Appreciate all the questions. Appreciate all you guys popping in the chat. Anybody, or real quick, just again, tell everybody who you are, where they can find your work, where they can follow you or ask you questions on Twitter, besides Fantasy Football Advice Network, fantasyfootballadvice.com. That's where they should be asking you the questions. But where can they find your content?
Facebook or TSA. I have a Thursday night podcast before the Thursday night game that we open up to the audience. So if you've got a question, you can come on live and ask. And I've already had one Hall of Famer on with me, and I got another one coming up in a little while. So, and JC's there every other week. Well, he's there every week, either behind the mic or in the production booth. So that's where you can find me.
I'm like Troy Polamalu, man. Never not working, baby. Yeah, I mean, I'm JC. You can find me on Twitter, JC Money Design, or at the Sports of Philly. Make sure you check out the website. I mean, apparently I've been talking about it enough. thesportsaffiliation.com. So go check that out. Lots of articles. I mean, obviously we do YouTube shows about almost every day. We got like the Twitter shows as well. I mean, it's a lot of fun. We got the watch party. We do a Monday watch party, and we do a Thursday watch party with the network. So it's an absolute blast. Better than the Manning cast. So just come hang out.
Better than the Manning cast. You already know.
It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm Zach Bradley at the Zach Bradley on pretty much anything that I'm on. Host of the 3-Man Bunk Bed podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, and potentially soon to be on the sports affiliation. We're gonna work that out. Okay.
So, Zach, are you missing the H or the K?
I'm missing both. It's just ZAC for me, but it's an H. It's an H in my name, like a.
So you're like the Wilson guy up in New York. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it's
but much better. Much better.
Well, it could be the Efron. He could be the Efron if he had the K.
Yeah.
But since he cut them both, he's better than both.
That's right.
That's right. Again, thanks everybody for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. We love the fantasy football community, and you guys are killer. We'll see you next week for From the Forum, Friday at 9:00 Central Time. Peace. Have a good night, and kill it in your leagues this weekend. Right? All right.
Let's go.
Peace.